Have you ever found yourself looking around and thinking, how did I end up here? I've had those moments more times than I care to admit, and I think many of us experience something similar as we age. Sometimes, the choices we make in life can lead us down paths that we never quite imagined. For me, one of those paths was moving into a nursing home. At the time, it seemed like the logical step. I was getting older, my health was beginning to show some wear, and I thought I could find support, security, and community in such a place. But as I sit here today, I'll be honest with you, I regret moving in. It's not that the people who work in nursing homes aren't caring or that there isn't good support available. But after spending time in this environment, there are hard truths I've had to face, truths I didn't fully understand or consider when I made the decision to move here. These are the things no one tells you, and if I had known them before, I might have made a different choice. In this video, I want to share with you 6 hard truths about living in a nursing home. These are the lessons I've learned the hard way, things I wish someone had told me before I took that step. These truths are personal, but I believe they can help anyone considering the move into a care facility. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, these are important to consider when you think about your future. So let's start with the first hard truth I've learned: the loss of independence. As we age, one of the things we value most is our independence, our ability to make our own choices, to do things for ourselves, and to live on our own terms. When you're living in a nursing home, however, you quickly realize how much of that independence you've given up. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. The nurses are there to help with your medications, the staff is available if you need assistance, and everything is provided for you. But over time, you begin to realize that you've lost the ability to make even small choices you might have taken for granted in your previous life. The freedom to wake up when you want, decide what to eat for dinner, or go for a walk whenever the mood strikes, those little things are taken away. For instance, when I first moved in, I thought it would be nice to have someone else make the decisions about things like meals, laundry, and daily care. But soon, I found myself frustrated when meals were served at fixed times, even when I wasn't hungry or when I preferred something else. I couldn't simply decide to skip breakfast or order something different because of a craving. It was all part of the routine, and while this routine is supposed to create structure, for someone who has spent decades making their own decisions, it can feel suffocating. I also missed the freedom to leave whenever I wanted. In a nursing home, you often have set visiting hours or times when you're allowed to go out. It's not the spontaneity I was used to. If I want to go to the store or see a friend, I have to plan it around staff schedules, and sometimes that doesn't align with what I had in mind. It's a tough realization when you realize that your choices are no longer entirely yours. Now, this isn't to say that everyone will feel the same way, and some people thrive in nursing homes. But for someone like me, who values independence, this loss has been one of the hardest things to cope with. It's made me question just how much we take for granted our ability to live on our own terms. The second hard truth I've learned is the lack of meaningful relationships. You might think that moving into a nursing home means you'll meet new people, make friends, and form relationships that will help you feel less lonely. While that's true in some cases, the reality is that the relationships you have in a nursing home can feel shallow and fleeting. It's not that the people aren't kind, but the environment doesn't always foster deep connections. For one, there's a lot of turnover. Residents come and go, and sometimes it feels like you can't build lasting friendships when people are only around for a short period of time. The staff, too, changes shifts regularly, so it can feel like there's no consistency or stability in your interactions. People are busy with their own schedules and routines, and even though there are community activities, it often feels like everyone is living in their own bubble. For someone like me, who has always valued deep conversations and strong friendships, this has been one of the hardest aspects of life here. I miss the simple joy of sharing a cup of coffee with a friend or talking about the news or family events. Those interactions, the ones that happen naturally when you live outside of an institutional setting, are what keep you feeling connected to the world. In the nursing home, it's easy to feel alone, even when there are people around you. The relationships often don't feel personal or genuine. I found myself longing for quality connections, for conversations that went beyond the usual pleasantries of, "How are you today?" and "Are you comfortable?" What I missed was the emotional bond that comes from long-term friendships. Now, I'm not saying there aren't ways to connect in a nursing home, but for someone who's used to real, close relationships, it can feel like something is missing. That sense of real connection that makes us feel part of a community. If I had known this, I would have thought longer about how to maintain meaningful relationships and perhaps prepared myself to handle the emotional distance that can come with living in a facility like this. The third hard truth I've learned is the challenge of maintaining a sense of identity. As we get older, we experience changes in our bodies, our routines, and the way we move through the world. But moving into a nursing home often accelerates this shift. Suddenly, your daily decisions are made for you, and you're no longer the one in charge of how you live your life. This is one of the most unsettling aspects of living in a nursing home. When your daily schedule is controlled by others, you can easily start to lose a sense of who you are. Your identity becomes blurred. When I was living on my own, I could wake up and decide what I wanted to wear, what I wanted to eat, and how I wanted to spend my day. I could indulge in a hobby, spend time in nature, or even rearrange my furniture to fit my mood. Now, those small freedoms are gone. It's not just the loss of physical independence, it's the emotional toll of feeling like you're losing your sense of self. The routine becomes everything, and it starts to define you. You feel like you've been reduced to a role, a patient, a resident, instead of a person with passions, ideas, and desires that go beyond the daily routine. What I wish I'd realized before making this decision is how important it is to maintain your sense of self, even if that means finding ways to assert your preferences in the smallest of ways. Whether it's choosing your own meals, deciding on the activities you engage in, or simply expressing your needs, it's important to stay true to who you are, even in a place like this. Now that we've covered the first 3 hard truths I've learned from my time in the nursing home, the loss of independence, the lack of meaningful relationships, and the challenge of maintaining a sense of identity, let's dive into the next set of realities that are just as important to understand when considering this lifestyle. These truths have been tough to accept, but I've come to see them as essential lessons, not only for myself, but for anyone considering a similar move. The fourth hard truth I've learned is the lack of privacy. We often think of a nursing home as a place where we will have some form of privacy, a personal space to call our own. But the truth is, when you live in a shared space or a facility, privacy becomes a rare commodity. In my case, I quickly realized that privacy is almost non-existent in this environment, even though I do have a small room of my own. Nursing homes are designed to provide constant care, which, while essential for many, means staff members are in and out of your space regularly. Whether it's a nurse checking on you, staff delivering medications, or housekeeping coming through to clean, there's always someone else coming in and out. At first, I didn't think it would be such a big deal, but over time, I began to miss having time to myself, to think without interruption, to enjoy a quiet moment without anyone walking in or out at will. Beyond the physical presence of staff and other residents, there's also the sense that everything is shared. Your meals are set at designated times, your activities are scheduled, and even your personal belongings are handled by someone else at times. It's not like when you lived independently and could come and go, speak, or stay silent, or simply close your door to be alone. I never realized just how much I valued solitude until it was gone. It's not that people are unfriendly here. It's just that privacy, the ability to enjoy peace, quiet, and solitude in a meaningful way, becomes limited. I've learned that having a space to recharge, reflect, and simply be alone with your thoughts is something we should never take for granted. So if you're considering moving into a nursing home, I would urge you to reflect on this carefully. Do you value privacy? How much privacy are you willing to give up? Is it something that will feel difficult for you, especially if you're used to having your own space and your own schedule? It's important to think about these things ahead of time. The fifth hard truth I've learned is the lack of control over your environment. When we're younger, we spend our lives creating spaces that reflect who we are. Our homes are filled with personal touches, photos, furniture, and decor that make us feel comfortable and connected to the life we've built. But when you move into a nursing home, you're stepping into someone else's world. The walls are often painted in neutral colors. The furniture is functional but not personal, and the environment is more institutional than homely. What I didn't realize at first was just how much the lack of control over your environment would affect my sense of well-being. You're living in a space that's not truly yours, and while it's clean and safe, it's hard to feel truly at home in a room that feels more like a hotel room than a place where you've made a life for yourself. The inability to personalize your living space as much as you'd like can have an emotional impact. For example, I've often wished I could rearrange my room the way I wanted, add more personal decorations, display my favorite art, or create a little cozy reading nook by the window. But the limitations in the space and the fact that changes are often discouraged or restricted leaves you with the sense that your environment isn't yours to shape. While some nursing homes may allow residents to personalize their rooms to a certain extent, it's still not quite the same as living in a home where every corner reflects your personality and life experiences. If you're someone who values having control over your surroundings, this is something you should carefully consider. How much control over your space are you willing to give up? It's something that can easily get overlooked when you're focused on the practicalities of care, but it's a reality that can deeply affect your emotional health. And now, for the final hard truth I've learned, one that is perhaps the most difficult to come to terms with: the feeling of being forgotten or disconnected from the outside world. In a nursing home, it's easy to feel out of sight and out of mind. Despite the best efforts of staff and residents to be friendly and supportive, you often experience a sense of being cut off from the outside world. Your family and friends may visit occasionally, but the routine of the nursing home, with its activities, mealtimes, and caregiving responsibilities, can create a feeling of isolation that's hard to shake. What's more, as time goes by, there's this slow but undeniable feeling of disconnection from the life you once knew. You don't hear about what's happening in the world in the same way. You're not as involved in the events of your community, and even your family's lives can start to feel distant. The outside world moves on, while you're left in a place where time seems to move differently. I've seen this in myself and others. There's this subtle sense of being forgotten, like we're not really part of the ongoing stories of our families or communities. When you're living in a nursing home, it's easy to feel as though you've become a spectator rather than a participant in life. And that feeling can be harder to cope with than you might think. It's crucial to consider how much you value staying connected to your family, your community, and the wider world. This sense of being disconnected can be one of the most heartbreaking aspects of life in a nursing home. We don't want to feel like we've lost touch with the people we care about, or that we're no longer a part of their daily lives. For many, this feeling of disconnection can be a silent source of emotional distress. Now that we've discussed some of the toughest realities of living in a nursing home, the loss of independence, the lack of meaningful relationships, the challenges of maintaining a sense of identity, the lack of privacy, and the feeling of disconnection from the outside world. Let's talk about how to use these lessons moving forward. Because while these hard truths are difficult to digest, they provide essential insights into what life in a nursing home is really like and how we can better prepare ourselves for the future. I know, after experiencing it firsthand, that it's easy to fall into the trap of regret and frustration. But I've also learned that understanding the realities of this environment can help you make more informed choices about how you approach aging, care options, and your own future. It's all about taking control of what's still in your hands, no matter what phase of life you're in. If I could go back, there are a few things I would have done differently before making the decision to move into a nursing home. For one, I would have given more thought to the importance of maintaining my independence and making sure that I had a support system in place before giving up my own space. I would have asked more questions about what my environment would be like, about how I could maintain my identity, and whether there would be opportunities for me to stay emotionally engaged with the world outside. These are the things that have made all the difference in my journey. And now, I want to share some actionable advice with you. The first takeaway from all of this is the importance of planning ahead. None of us can predict the future, but we can certainly prepare for it. If you're considering moving into a nursing home or any form of assisted living, take the time to think through what you value most. What are the things that make you feel like you're living your best life? What aspects of your current routine or environment do you cherish the most? For me, that's personal freedom and connection, things I didn't realize I would lose as much as I did. Before making any decisions about a nursing home, talk to your loved ones, your doctors, and people who are already living in care facilities. Ask about the realities of the environment. What is daily life like? How much freedom do you have to make your own choices? Are there opportunities to maintain a strong sense of identity? And while planning is important, it's also essential to maintain flexibility. Even if a nursing home feels like the right choice now, don't forget that life can change, and so can your needs. It's okay to reassess your situation and ask for a change if you feel like you're losing more than you're gaining. Another key takeaway is to stay connected with the outside world, whether you're in a nursing home or living independently. Staying emotionally and socially connected is a lifeline. It's easy to feel disconnected when you're living in an institution, but you can still be active in your community, attend family events, or even engage in online activities. Technology can be a wonderful tool to help you stay in touch with your loved ones, your interests, and even the world. In the nursing home, I've learned that staying emotionally engaged with the world outside is something I took for granted before. If I had known how deeply I would miss my personal connections, I would have taken more proactive steps to maintain those relationships even before making the move. So, if you're planning ahead, make sure that your social life isn't sacrificed in the process. Lastly, don't let go of your sense of self. Even though I've been living in this facility for a while now, I've learned that maintaining your personal identity is vital, even when the world around you changes. It's easy to feel like you've lost yourself when routines are dictated by others, but you can find ways to assert your preferences and stay engaged with things that matter to you. Keep doing the things that bring you joy, whether it's a hobby, a volunteer project, or simply finding time to be with your thoughts. Your mental and emotional health are just as important as your physical health, and the choices you make every day help to preserve who you are. Reflecting on all of this, it's clear that the decision to move into a nursing home is not one size fits all. It's a deeply personal choice, and everyone's needs are different. Some people find comfort and support in these environments, and others may feel the loss of independence and connection more keenly. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all about what works for you. But being aware of the trade-offs and understanding the realities of life in a nursing home is a powerful way to make the best decision for your future. If you find yourself on the fence about the decision to move into a care facility, I encourage you to take a step back and really consider what you want for yourself. Do you want to live with more structure and support, or do you prefer to maintain as much independence as possible? Do you need community, or would you prefer more privacy? These questions are important, and it's essential to explore them thoroughly before making a life-changing decision. And if you're already in a nursing home or considering it, know this: you still have the power to shape your experience. Whether it's by building relationships with others, maintaining your sense of identity, or finding ways to stay connected to the outside world, you can make this chapter of your life fulfilling and meaningful. It's all about how you approach it and what you choose to focus on. Remember, aging doesn't have to be a time of loss. It can be a time of discovery, growth, and self-reflection. There are still so many ways to live with purpose and joy at any stage of life. So, let's keep the conversation going. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on moving into a nursing home? Have you experienced any of these hard truths, or do you have advice for others who are considering this move? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. Here's to making the most of the time we have, wherever we are, and no matter our age. You've got this, and you are not alone.